Hello, everyone. Ex-Walk Hill Bethelite here. And the Jehovah's Witnesses have structurally changed in a way that is going to greatly affect Bethelites in a negative way. Now, the reason why this is important is because without free labor, Jehovah's Witnesses would essentially cease to be able to function. Without free labor, Watchtower can't do what it does. It can't have a headquarters with people cleaning it and working in it and functioning without them doing it for free. So if the whole work for free thing becomes an issue, then Watchtower as an organization is out the door faster than any of us have expected. And as usual, Watchtower does things that essentially is like stabbing themselves in the foot. So just like Tony Morse, in his little rant about what he calls apostates, where he lit a match and before it caught his old ass on fire, he blew it out and said that apostates would be gone that fast. Well, if the work for free thing became a problem for Watchtower, if they can't get people to do what they want them to do for free, then Watchtower would be just like this candle. It's barely lit here. So Watchtower is barely functioning. Now, if you take away free labor from Watchtower, just like that, Watchtower is snuffed out. Just like that. I like to use Tony Morris's little illustration, except for mine is a little bit more true. See, Watchtower would be gone. When I was at Bethel, they could barely function with free labor. With free labor, they had layoffs. Or with free laborers, they had to send a bunch of their free labor away. All this stuff is happening with the free labor. With the free labor, Watchtower had to sell off a bunch of facilities, a bunch of kingdom halls. That's with free labor. So imagine them working without free labor. They wouldn't be around very long. Now, why is this? Well, the incentive, or one of the big incentives that keeps people at Bethel is the glorification of Bethelites, essentially. It is people worshiping the ground Bethelites walk on, right? It is everybody at the Kingdom Hall, the congregation level, looking up to Bethelites. Essentially, one of the main things that keep people at Bethel is the fact that if they leave Bethel, they're no longer treated as a demigod. Well, Watchtowers changed. So after COVID, Watchtower no longer has meetings at the Kingdom Hall. This is where the Bethelites were getting all this praise. This is where you had people at the Kingdom Hall taking Bethelites on trips. You had people at the Kingdom Hall worshiping the ground Bethelites walked on. You had people at the halls and the assemblies. Those are the ones that essentially gassed up Bethelites. Where if we leave, we no longer get this stroking of our ego where we're directly working for God and whatnot, according to that cult. Well, now that the Jehovah's Witnesses don't meet at the Kingdom Hall anymore, that means Bethelites are around primarily other Bethelites, right? They're not leaving Bethel to drive off to the Kingdom Hall if all the meetings are on Zoom, right? They just had a whole assembly online. So this will culturally change Jehovah's Witnesses. I should know. I worked at Bethel. This is culturally going to change Jehovah's Witnesses. The culture is that Bethelites are stars. When going to Bethel, it's almost like going to Hollywood, becoming a major star, and then when you come back to visit, you've got all these fans, right? Well, this happened primarily at the Kingdom Halls, where a Bethelite goes to Bethel, comes back to visit his home congregation, wherever that may be, and man, he's greeted with the whole congregation. He's surrounded by women. Like he is just the most spiritual. It's as if literally Moses just walked into the Kingdom Hall. That's the culture. Well, that just changed because there ain't no Kingdom Hall. There's Kingdom Zoom. But the Bethelites, the culture, the admiration, the feeling of walking into a Kingdom Hall and just surprising everybody with your presence, it's not the same on Zoom. The whole culture's changed. And it's been like this for over a year. For over a year, Bethelites have had less reason to stay at Bethel. Because after you start working at Bethel, you got to understand, Bethelites don't worship the ground other Bethelites walk on. The only people that do that are the people who are brown nosers and they're trying to move up, essentially. But in general, Bethelites, you walk past a Bethelite and the Bethelite's not like, wow, there's a Bethelite. No, they that's all they see. Especially in places like Wallkill, where it's kind of secluded from anywhere else. All those people that have been living there, they don't see nothing else but Bethelites. You're not special at Bethel. The culture amongst Jehovah's Witnesses is that the Bethelite is special once he leaves Bethel, leaves all them other thousands of free labor workers, and goes somewhere else where he's the only free labor worker around. So let's say if I'm from Ohio, for me to get that praise and admiration and encouragement to stay at Bethel, I leave Bethel, go back to Ohio, and am praised as a Bethelite. Praised. By the time you leave all that praise, and admiration, and all the young people that you knew in your city looking up to you, all the older people's having nothing but good things to say about you. By the time you leave that, you're thinking, man, I can't tell these people I want to leave. You go back to Bethel. It's the pressure. It's the peer pressure to stay at Bethel. Where is that now? Culturally, where is that now? This is major. This is major for Bethelites, because during the course of the entire history of the organization, there's never really been a time where a Bethelite wasn't lauded and praised at the kingdom halls, at the assemblies. You work at Bethel? Wow. Just being able to travel. There's so many Bethelites that they just travel. They'll go to this city here, go to that city there. Why? Because people invite them. Why? Because they're Bethelites, and then they just show up, and they're just the most special people there, and that's where they get the encouragement to go back and be broke and work for free. Right? Because all that ends the minute they walk through the doors at Bethel, and they're just a regular person. Matter of fact, think about this. At Bethel, when I would go to eat a meal, we had a special position at the table, whether it be, breakfast, lunch, or what have you. That's the table head. Oftentimes, a table head is a Bethel elder. The table head is who decides, where the food is passed, whether or not we're going to send a dish off to get more. You would think that, wow, a Bethel elder, the person that sits at the head of the table, well, at Bethel, unless somebody's brown nosing to the person, it ain't that special. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. This is what we see every day. Somebody got to sit there and pass the food. Nobody cares. You're not getting that. Oh, wow. He's sitting at the head of the table. I'm telling you, I was there. Nobody cares. You're not the big shot because you sit at the head of the table and you pass the Kashi cereal from one direction to the other. You're not getting that type of praise there. You got morning worship comments. At morning worship in the morning, where the person is literally on the little TV screen and he's giving this little comment about the daily text. Well, you gotta understand that when you first get to Bethel, oh wow, that's a big deal. But after you've been there for a few months and you see morning worship every single morning, people are half paying attention to your morning worship comment. Nobody cares. You're not going to give your morning worship comment and get a whole lot of praise and pats on the backs. You probably get less of that. A Bethelite probably gets less of a pat on the back at Bethel than the average congregation goer gets when they give a comment at a Watchtower study or something to that effect. Because you give a comment at the Bethel Family Watchtower study, unless it's your first comment ever, people might say something. If it's your very first comment, oh, good job. You ain't impressing nobody at Bethel. You not. They've been seeing people give morning worship comments. They've been seeing people give Watchtower comments at the Bethel Watchtower study. Heck, they watch the Gilead students come in and give their life stories. These people are they're seeing this regularly all the time. It's not that big of a deal to them. The culture inside Bethel is not enough to maintain a Bethelite, to keep a Bethelite there. It's not. It's the culture inside Bethel. You don't get anything to remain at Bethel. But the culture outside of Bethel, at the kingdom halls, at the assemblies, yeah, you get the motivation to stay at Bethel. When you go to an assembly and you get darn near, when you're ready to leave the assembly, you're darn near getting chased by women. One of the Bethelites that came in with me, he told us, he said that he was getting ready to leave, you know what I mean, the assembly, because we're all riding together. And we saw the girl run across towards him. I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm busy talking to other people. But he told us in the car she was chasing him. Yeah, if you are getting women chasing you, not chasing, but she was running to catch him before he left. If you basically got women chasing you at the assemblies, that's going to motivate you to stay there until you find you a wife of what have you, right? Because once you get back to Bethel, you're thinking, man, if I leave before I take advantage of this and find a wife, because these women think I'm super spiritual and whatnot, then I might be in bad shape. So I better take advantage of being at Bethel to find this particular woman that I want. Then people leave, right? A lot of times people get married and then they leave Bethel. Why? They're taking advantage of all the praise and admiration that Bethelites get. Heck, we've been working for free, so we might as well take advantage of that and take advantage of these women that think Bethelites are all that. All that's changing, right? The assembly was on the computer. I guarantee you there are Bethelites huddled up talking about this. I guarantee you there are Bethelites on the phone talking to each other. I guarantee you they are. They're on the phone talking to each other about this. Hey, we were meeting all them sisters at the assemblies. We had them all lined up at the assemblies. We had a book full of numbers. Like, where are we going to get this now? We used to be able to go from hall to hall to hall and just walk up and talk to any sister we want. Heck, they might come up to us because we're Bethelites. Where are we getting this now? This is huge. People, this is huge. Now is a time to get Bethelites out of the organization. Now is the best time to get Bethelites out. They're not getting paid. I'm telling you, do you know how difficult that can be? Where, yes, you have a cafeteria, but I don't think that there are many people watching this that don't have a refrigerator full of food that they can go to when they want. Because if there is a cafeteria that you can only go to at certain times, there's chances where you might miss one of those meals, and now you're hungry, and now you got to wait to the next one. Well, that's just a drop in the bucket as far as different things that happen to Bethelites that aren't fun, right? Being in a little enclosed room with another guy, that's not fun, right? Having all these rules of having to be dressed up in some locations and other locations okay for you to walk around wearing what you want. Like, There's no incentive for you to just be a broke guy that can't get that praise that you were getting before. You're just a broke person now. You're just poor. It's all you are is you work as hard as anybody else, but you're just poor now. I mean, this is unlike any time in the organization's history where if a Bethelite decided they wanted to leave, they ain't even getting the lashback that they would get before. Right? Because they ain't got to go and walk into a kingdom hall and face the congregation that they grew up in and explain to all these people surrounding them why they left Bethel. They ain't going to the halls. And I don't think anybody cares if they have to hop on Zoom and they're a former Bethelite that left Bethel. There isn't enough fear and dread of hopping on Zoom versus walking into an actual kingdom hall and everybody looking at you like, why on earth would you leave, in their minds, what is paradise, but in your mind, being a Bethelite, you know it's just being broke. And shoot, if you've been working there for years, you ain't known broke until you ain't got enough money to buy a bag of chips. But work overtime at Bethel, and you ain't got enough money to buy a bag of chips to snack on. You don't know broke. That's not fun. Candies and all kinds of things like that. Unless somebody's sending somebody stuff in, they ain't even got a Snickers. Like, I'm telling you. Over a long course of time, that becomes very difficult to just be a broke employee, to just be a broke worker. And for the last few years, they're not even getting the pats on the back, the admiration. They're not getting the motivation to stay. All of it's gone. Excuse me. All of it's gone. Now, when I was at Bethel, I didn't go. I went there because I wanted to serve Jehovah and whatnot. You know, I wasn't a smart kid at all, thinking God is running a magazine printing company. But once you get there, it becomes difficult to leave because then you have to face all these people. You go and visit your congregation and everybody's patting you on your back and wanting to, on the spot, put you on stage and everything else. How you going to tell them you want to leave? Right? All that's gone now. All that stuff is gone. So there's no pat on the back. There's no praise, really. There's no money. We know they're not getting paid. And there ain't no women? You mean to tell me all these Bethelites that were used to just women everywhere at these kingdom halls, the only women that they see now are other married men's wives that are already there at Bethel? You better believe if Watchtower already had to have this Pillowgate film about people masturbating and whatnot, wearing down all kind of Watchtower pillowcases and whatnot, they got to been going crazy the last few years because they ain't even seeing women now. They had that Pillowgate, basically Watchtower made a video to tell Bethelites to stop masturbating. And this is with all the praise and admiration and women chasing them and whatnot. Right? Well, now you take that away, and it's not going to be like half of them doing all that stuff. All of them going to be beaten off now. All of them. all watchtower pillowcase and linen is going to be stained now. Right? Because they ain't got no women. They ain't got no women other than just looking at other people's wives that are already there. Unless somebody's running some kind of weird scheme and setting up people with other people at Bethel. Like, and even if they are doing that, they're still not getting the praise and admiration and worship of demigod status that Bethelites get. You take that all away and you think about it, and it's like, man, that's the only reason to even stay at Bethel. That's the only reason half these people go. Is to just be a star in front of everybody. Right? Well, at Bethel, you just a regular person. And since COVID, they just been regular people. So you guys comment down below, let me know what you think. But Bethelites, the current culture, the way things are moving, the direction things are going, the current culture is one where a Bethelite is no longer a demigod. You can't be a demigod and nobody really meets at the halls where you go and get your demigod worship or assemblies. If you ain't getting that and you ain't getting no money, you guys tell me why you think Bethelites would stay at Bethel now. You guys tell me. So it's already been a couple years of this. Imagine it goes 3-4 more years of this where these Bethelites, they're just broke. They're not getting the praise and admiration. They're not stars anymore. There ain't no reason to go. You think a lot of people are going to be signing up to go to Bethel now? You think a lot of people are going to be staying Bethel late? You know, the revolving door of people coming and leaving Bethel was already huge. Now, with the culture the way it is, and people having no reason to stay at all, these people are going to get tired of being broke. They can't even have a bag of Doritos, and they just be in the room beating off all day. I guarantee you, if they have phones, if these Bethelites have phones, because all these phones are connected to the internet and whatnot, they are all on these phones, getting in their car, driving up somewhere, beating off to whatever porn they can get on the phones. I guarantee you that. There is no way they were having a problem with pornography and people beating off and into pillows and whatnot before they stopped having as much access to women, and now that they don't hardly have any, imagine a shutdown and they ain't even seeing the worldly women no more. Comment down below, let me know what you think. We'll discuss it. A number to text is 937-789-4029. If you guys are interested, we can work on doing interviews. We can try hopping on Discord, which is a free service where, you know, people can talk online and what have you. So there's all kinds of different things we can do. We can discuss all these things more, and to set all that up, the number to text is 937-789-4029. X Walk Hill Bethelite signing out.